Because vegans are better than God. That's right.
God is actually trying to kill all vegans. Yeah.
Because we're out here protecting the animals from being murdered, the animals that he created.
I mean, he's also trying to kill all of you guys who are eating meat.
Well, he's just sitting up there doing nothing.
He's even trying to kill those of us who are trying to save the animals and save humans and save the planet. So that doesn't make him very smart or kind.
And don't say, well, God gave us free will, because that wasn't very smart of him, was it?
I mean, if I was in charge, or any vegan for that matter, we would make sure that vegans live much, much longer.
So I think personally that God's pretty evil. It's either he's evil or he's just impotent, like has no more power.
If vegans were in charge, we would make sure that vegans stay alive a lot longer to help to pass on the message about being kind to the animals.
Oh, or he's just lazy, something. But it is clear that vegans are better than God.
I know some of you guys in the comments have been wanting me to talk about this for a while now, so here it is. That vegan teacher thinks she and her pathetic cult of degenerate Neanderthals, better known as psycho-vegan activists, are saving the world and that they're so much better than the big guy upstairs. How on earth does someone come to such an outlandish conclusion like this? Well, I think it starts when you stop eating your meats and proteins. And unfortunately for you, that big pink thing that's supposed to be in your head, you know, somewhere between your ears and skull and stuff like that, kind of looks like a bowl of ramen noodles, which you might not be familiar with since you very well could be lacking it entirely. It's called the brain. And let me educate you for a second. What it's supposed to do is handle all of the thinking that you do and processing of information, as well as a plethora of other things. However, when you stop giving it the right nutrients that it needs, it starts to malfunction. And I'm pretty sure you have a very, very bad case of no brainitis that you should definitely get checked out immediately. Seems to be a common side effect of the strict vegan diets, huh? But maybe it's actually me with the brain smoother than freshly churned butter. Perhaps I'm just incapable of seeing what a galaxy brain genius that vegan teacher truly is. So maybe she can educate me and everybody else watching this on why vegans are better than God.
Vegans are better than God.
Wow, straight to the point, Ari. All right, no time wasted. Let's get into this.
That's right, because we're out here protecting the animals from being murdered, the animals that he created. Well, he's just sitting up there doing nothing. So yeah, vegans are better than God. If you don't agree, write it in the comments, but don't just say, oh, you're wrong.
I don't agree because you're a stupid, inbred, crazy psycho woman that doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and you really shouldn't be on the internet preaching this bullshit to the world because it is not based in fact, and you're insane, and you are definitely not better than God. You're not better than Satan himself. You are not better than, like, literally anybody. Cool. That should work. That should do it. All right, cool.
And don't just say F you. Like, actually write.
Oh yeah, and fuck you, stupid bitch. Cool. All right. Now that should be good. Thanks.
A reason. And don't say that God created me, because, you know, God created all of us and we're all flawed, right? And don't say, well, God gave us free will, because that wasn't very smart of him, was it? Should not have given us free will. And don't say, well, if God didn't create lions to eat zebras, that the world would overpopulate with all kinds of animals, because God could have simply created all animals to be herbivores and that they would all just die in their sleep at a certain age, so that there would never be an overcrowding of animals. You know, God could have created the planet whereby there would be no suffering and everybody would live in peace and harmony. That's not what he did, is it?
All right, I'll agree with one point that she made. I think it would be pretty nice to have a world that has no suffering. I mean, gosh, then I wouldn't have to go to work on Monday. Wouldn't that be amazing? But the fact of the matter is, free will is just way too important to be giving up. Like, it just, what kind of world would we live in if we don't have the choice? You know, like, we don't have the ability to make mistakes. We don't have the ability to choose our own destinies, to decide, you know, what we want to do with our lives and stuff like that. Like, we should be able to do that. I mean, I'm sure that was God's intention, right? For people to have free will so that you can, you know, experience life the way that you choose to do so. I mean, you get, as far as we know, only one of them. So not being able to choose what I do on a Saturday morning, like get up on my computer and make a video about this crazy vegan witch, like that would suck, you know? Like the fact of the matter is you just can't have life on this planet without suffering. It's just how it works, man. Like, and that's fine. Like, we've learned to accept that over the years. Obviously, people have always accepted that. Like, it sucks when, you know, tragic things happen, you know, family members die, you get severely hurt, you know, like things like that. Like, it sucks, dude, let's be honest. But how can you appreciate the good in life if there's no bad, you know? And unfortunately, you know, the circle of life is a thing. It's existed for as long as life has existed on Earth. Life starts and it ends, and things will take other living things and use that as nourishment for their own survival, you know? Even some plants will eat flies. I mean, there's the Venus flytrap, you know? Like, plants are fucking plants. Like, you don't really associate plants with being carnivorous, but there are carnivorous plants. That's the crazy thing, right? And that's one of the beautiful things about nature, is that there's so much diversity in it, and that it can also be totally unpredictable. I mean, even an herbivore can choose to just, you know what, that chicken looks tasty today, I'm gonna just, you know what I mean? Like, that can happen. That's that's one awesome thing about nature, and these crazy ass vegans don't want that to exist, you know? It's a delicate ecosystem, right? I've explained this before, Mufasa's explained it. I'm not going to explain it to you pumpkin heads ever again. But the point is, we need these checks and balances, you know? There's no reason that lions shouldn't be allowed to exist. And she goes on to say that, oh yeah, at some point she's like, well, everybody should just be herbivores. All animals should just be herbivores, should all just eat plants. Well, that sucks to be a plant then. Did you think about that? Either way, you are still ending plant life, you know? Like, don't plants want to live too? If plants didn't want to live, then they'd have no purpose of reproducing, you know? Why would plants want to reproduce if there's no point of them living? It doesn't make sense. Not to mention, there are a lot of plants that when they're disturbed, they'll release like certain chemicals that say, hey, I don't like this. Like, this is, you know, obviously plants don't have the ability to think and process information the way that animals do. But at the same time, they can also be like, hey, I don't like being murdered right now. Like, this isn't cool. Like, I don't like being eaten. Like, it's still a living thing at the end of the day. So you just want the plant genocide to happen, the plant holocaust? Is that what you think? Like, the environment just isn't designed to work that way. Like, we need the carnivores to keep the herbivores in check so that the herbivores don't eat all the plants, because the herbivores eat all the plants, everybody's screwed. It's very, very, very simple, and there's no reason that it shouldn't work that way.
So I think personally that God's pretty evil. It's either he's evil or he's just impotent, like has no more power, or he's just lazy, something. But it is clear that vegans are better than God, because we're there all day, every day, talking about the suffering of the innocent, while God is just sitting back there and watching it happen.
Yeah, I don't really understand the how God is supposed to be evil thing. That seems extremely counterintuitive and just simply not possible. Now, I get it. You're upset. You don't like seeing suffering. Nobody does, except you're like the loonies that for some reason enjoy that shit. I don't know, the weirdos. But besides them, nobody likes to see suffering, okay? It's really unfortunate that it happens. But the fact of the matter is, if suffering didn't exist, neither would free will. Because, God, I hate to use this as an example, but like, if somebody decides one day, you know what, I'm gonna go outside and I'm just gonna like punch this person in the face. You know, like, the person that got punched in the face is gonna be, well, suffering. And the only reason that this was able to happen is because the person that punched in the face had free will. Had they not had free will, obviously that person doesn't get punched in the face. But at the same time, that person like can't do that, you know? It's like, just can't do it because you don't got free will, you know? And that, it sucks. Like, because the thing is that I have to equate that to like, if you don't have free will, then maybe I can't go to Six Flags, you know? Like, maybe I can't go to a water park or something because like, well, God said no. Like, I think it's so much more important that we have free will, because if we don't have free will, we don't have anything, man. Like, who wants to live in a world where you can't make your own decisions ever? That's horrifying.
Yeah, and you know, he also, by the way, you're suffering as well, because when I can't speak out about how veganism is also good for your health, you're less likely to have a heart attack, a stroke, or cancer. God just wants to censor everything. I guess he wants you to get sick or something. I don't know. And you know, when we try to protect the environment, you know, because animal agriculture leaves a great footprint, an eco footprint that is disastrous. I guess God really just wants our planet to destroy itself, or for us to destroy her, Mother Nature. I don't know. Anyway, what do you guys think about all this? I mean, besides the fact that obviously we all agree that vegans are better than God. I mean, it's not even really debatable. It's just so clear.
Yo, bro, who the is we all the fucking voices in your head? Because I don't think anybody else on this planet, except maybe a couple people in your ridiculous vegan cult, agree with you. I guarantee 99.999% of us think you're a nutcase, and everything that you just said is just a bunch of hoopla. Yeah, I don't know where you're getting that information from, but you need to fire whoever the providing you with these sources, because they are extremely inaccurate, probably written by some hippie on the street that lives in a van. Yeah, dude, vegans are just elevated, we're just on a higher plane of existence, man. Like, we're better than God. Like, we're actually just all above God. He's lost all his power, man. Like, he doesn't control the show, because if he did, there'd be no suffering, It's insane. It's crazy. Anyway, you got any more shrooms or weed, bro? I'm feeling a little low. I swear that must have been like the interaction she had with some hippie in California to come to this ridiculous conclusion. But I do want to address the health and the silencing thing. She's like, well, why can't I tell people, get on the internet and tell people that being vegan's healthy and it saves the animals? I'm being silenced. Nobody watches my videos anymore. I think it's because, I don't know how you ignore it, but you get so much backlash, and it ain't about God. God's not silencing you. It's the people. The people are like, hey, we're tired of your shit. You're a lunatic. Go back to the loony bin where you belong and stop spewing this hateful garbage. You don't know what you're talking about, and you're senile wicked bitch of the West. But I made a video talking all about the negatives of going vegan, and obviously there's some positives that can come from it as well. But the fact of the matter, she's talking about like, oh yeah, you're lower risk of getting cancer and stuff. That's not true. You actually, if you're lacking certain minerals like B12, that actually puts you at a pretty high risk of getting stomach cancer. So yeah, that's wrong. Not to mention all the other deficiencies that can come from a poor vegan diet, or even a good vegan diet, if your body just isn't able to process plant proteins and things of that nature very well. But yeah, I talked all about that in my previous video, so if you guys are interested in knowing more about that, go ahead and take a look at it. It'll be right up there somewhere.
Reason number one why vegans are better than God. If vegans had designed the planet, we never would have designed it in such a way that any animals would hurt others. They would have been designed so that all animals would be herbivores. Everybody would just eat plants. And I know what you're thinking, the world would overpopulate. So how that would be settled is that all animals would die in their sleep painlessly. For example, you and I would die at about 100 years old without ever having a heart attack, a stroke, or any kind of cancer, or being mauled to death. And all animals would die at the appropriate time in order to avoid overpopulation, and everything would be stable and equalized. We could all still enjoy the planet. We could all do stuff like whatever you guys want to do, bungee jumping, walking through the mountains, lying in the sun, enjoying the rain and the sun and everything, but without suffering. That's what vegans would have done if we could design the planet. So that's just another reason why vegans are better than God. It's just a fact.
She just single-handedly created world peace, not just among people, but among animals as well. Can you guys just imagine like a big ass tiger just like munching on some grass? Like, that's just so bizarre to me. Like, she just doesn't give a shit about environmentalism. She doesn't give a evolution. She just doesn't actually care about the world that we actually do live in. Like, she wants to live in this crazy fantasy land where like everything is just perfect. It's just sunshine and rainbows. The tigers eat grass and cows eat corn and blah 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 blah. We all just live together in harmony. We all just die peacefully in our sleep. I mean, there are some good things to that. I mean, nobody wants to have a heart attack and be like, oh god, this is the worst pain I've ever felt in my fucking life and I'm gonna die. That sucks. Like, nobody wants to go through that shit. Unfortunately though, all of this stuff is what makes the world we live in so wonderful. I mean, I know how awful that sounds, but it's like, you gotta take the good with the bad. I cannot express that enough. Like, how do you can't appreciate a day off work if you never go to work, I think that's a terrible example, but it's just gonna have to take that. But personally, I like the world the way it is. This world has existed for millions upon millions of years, way before that vegan teacher was even thought of. You had dinosaurs roaming the earth, eating each other. Like, it's always been meant to be this way. And I think it's nice that humans have evolved as a species, intelligence-wise, where we can basically be on top of the food chain. And there's a lot that we can do with that. There's a lot of good we can do with that. There's also a lot of harm that we can do with that. And it is our responsibility to try to do as much good and as least amount of harm as possible. That's what I feel like these vegan activists should really be teaching people, because doing this fantasy land bullshit, talking about how they're better than God, how they'd redesign the planet and all this stuff, that doesn't save animals, okay? Trying to be like, oh yeah, this is a perfect world, you guys should try to be like, it's never gonna be like that. A tiger's never gonna choose to eat grass over the antelope that will actually provide them with the nutrients that they need to survive and thrive, okay? It's just not gonna happen. How much you start going around and trying to protest against unethical treatment of animals in a proper way, not just like these scare tactics or these rage bait tactics, or like just these ridiculous methods that you do to try to be relevant, to try to get in and invade people's lives and stuff like that. It's not working. It never has. And you know, you were all the rage a couple years ago when you first started popping up spewing this ridiculous hateful bullshit, but now nobody even watches your videos anymore. People just watch people talk about you because they're just like, God, I just want to talk shit about that vegan teacher because she fucking sucks and I can't stand the bitch. That is your presence on the internet, and that is all you're ever going to be from this point on.
Reason number 2, why vegans are better than God. God is actually trying to kill all vegans. Yeah. I mean, he's also trying to kill all of you guys who are eating meat. But the point is that he's even trying to kill those of us who are trying to save the animals and save humans and save the planet. So that doesn't make him very smart or kind, honestly. I mean, if I was in charge, or any vegan for that matter, we would make sure that vegans live much, much longer. I mean, already there's more of a chance that we will live longer because we won't get cancer and strokes and heart attacks, at least not as easily. But everybody dies eventually. If vegans were in charge, we would make sure that vegans stay alive a lot longer to help to pass on the message about being kind to the animals, to make sure that less people make them suffer, you know? So I don't get this thing about God, why everybody likes him so much. To me, he just seems weird.
Yeah, it seems like the delusions of grandeur have really taken over this one, it seems. So once again, she's reminding us this is reason number 2 why vegans are quote unquote better than God. Apparently they're smarter than God. Apparently they're more kind than God. Apparently they don't want to kill you, but God does. I don't know where the she's getting this information from, but it is insane. I don't think God is trying to kill all vegans, but what I do think she's implying with this is that she knows that vegan diets aren't necessarily healthy for everybody, and there are vegans that are dropping like flies right now because they're malnourished, because they aren't eating meats and stuff that they're supposed to. Now, in the Bible, I've been told that it says very clearly that animals were, you know, kind of meant to be eaten, some of them anyway, and that is allowed. And I think she knows that because she references the Bible a lot about like the thou shalt not kill, but then it's at the same time it's like you can also eat animals, you know? So it's like she doesn't really want to correlate those two things and be like, that's okay. She's like, no, one of those things. The one thing's okay, but the other one, no, screw that. We don't live by that. This is a bunch of bullshit, okay? But what ends up happening is you get these crazy delusions that make you think that God is somehow out to get you because being vegan for most people isn't sustainable or healthy or a very convenient or good option. So you're like, God's trying to kill us all. Our diet's killing us because we can't get the same nourishment that we're meant to from doing this. So it's his problem. That's the kind of things that she's spewing here, which I think is just absurd.
Okay, so reason number 198.
No, yeah, you heard that right. Reason 198. Yeah, she somehow has come up with 198 reasons for why vegans are quote unquote better than God. I mean, she has got so many reasons, they must be true, right?
Why vegans are better than God. See, if vegans would have designed humans and the planet and the animals and everything, we would have changed everything. But apparently God had all this power and he's supposedly all good. But he made so many mistakes, so it's impossible that he's actually good or powerful, or maybe he's not even that smart. I mean, just think about this, right? As we get older, our skin gets more dry, and so we need to have more moisture, right? So we could drink a whole bunch of water, but wouldn't it make more sense that just putting your hands underwater would be a way for you to absorb water through your skin? Like, so that you wouldn't even have to drink? And think about it, you should even be able to go into the ocean and absorb ocean water and just be in complete equilibrium without ever having to actually drink. And, you know, your body would leave out the salt, but just take in the water part, right?
Yeah, I don't even think I really even need to talk about this last part. We all know she's freaking insane, but I will a little bit. I don't know why she wants us to be frogs so bad. Because the thing is, there's some pretty good reasons why you shouldn't just absorb water. You know what I mean? Just like ocean water, there's microorganisms and tons of other things. But I guess in her mind, you can just like filter those out or something. I guess she just wants us all to be like superhumans or something that could do that. She just wants us all to be like Aquaman or some shit. Which, I mean, I guess that's cool, I suppose. I don't know, but she's basically trying to say like, yeah, God's not that smart or that great or powerful because we're designed so terribly because we have to drink water instead of just being able to absorb it. It's like, that's just not really it. I mean, my opinion on this subject is really that I feel we're a product of evolution. Humans developed the way that we have based off of the circumstances that we've existed in. We're not frogs. Like, we don't need to absorb, like, we're amphibians in general. Amphibians, like, they literally absorb things through their skin and stuff like that. They do that for a reason, and it's also a bad thing because that can also kill them really easily if they get introduced to some foreign agent that's not supposed to be in their body. Well, that's gonna kill them, so that's not exactly great. But anyway, that's all I gotta say to you, Miss Katie, and that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below, and if you enjoyed, feel free to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Till next time.